First of all, my name is Sandra Slater, and I will be moderating this forum. And welcome again. We want to thank our partner, Homewood Chronicle newspaper, for joining with us, for videotaping this presentation, and for putting it on YouTube. So if you want to go back and look at it again, or share it with anyone else, you can tell them that they can go to YouTube to find this. The statement from the League of Women Voters is we are a nonpartisan organization that neither supports nor opposes candidates for any office. We're not affiliated with any political party. The League's purpose is to promote political responsibility through informed and active participation of citizens in government. Providing this forum allows residents to become better informed about the issues facing their community and to become better acquainted with the candidates running for office. We're pleased to provide this service for the community. The League is open to membership for anyone 16 years of age or older, and if you're interested in joining our League, you can go to our website, LWV.org, click the Join button, and follow a few simple steps. Holding candidate forums has been a long core activity of the League of Women Voters, and we have developed a set of protocols that we will follow today. The candidates were provided an advanced written copy of those guidelines and the format that will be used, and they have signed an agreement that they will follow the guidelines as a condition of their participation. I will take a minute to review those rules as a reminder for the candidates and so that you, the audience, will know what to expect. First of all, each candidate has randomly drawn a number and has been seated in the order from left to right, in the order of the number they drew. Each candidate will be allowed a 2-minute opening statement. All questions will be asked of all candidates, so please don't submit questions addressed to one candidate only. Candidates will have a 60-second response to the questions, and we have timers in the front of the room who will keep them on time, show them how much time they have left. When the response time is up, the candidates will be allowed to briefly finish their sentence. Following questioning, each candidate will be allowed a 1-minute closing statement. Closing statements will be given in the reverse order of opening statements. Candidates, please put away any electronic devices, and audience, I ask you to silence your cell phones. The questions must be written on the cards that are provided here, and if you need a card to write a question, raise your hand and someone will bring you a card. The questions will be screened to try and eliminate duplicates and to avoid any personal attacks. Similar questions will be combined. We'll try and cover as many topics as possible so that you have as much information as you need to make an informed choice. Please feel free to applaud at the end of the forum, but not during the forum, and please refrain from making expressions of agreement or disagreement during the forum so as not to disrupt the flow of things here. If time runs out and there are topics that did not get addressed, I will give the candidates a general summary of the topic so they will know what other issues are important to the voters. Your courtesy and cooperation are appreciated, and we thank all of these candidates for being willing to run for office and for joining us in this forum today. And we will get started with candidate number 1. And that's Vivian Harris-Jones. When you introduce yourself, would you please indicate which position you're running for, whether it's the 2-year term or the 4-year term? Because from what I understand, there are 3 4-year term trustee positions available and 1 2-year term trustee position available. Get that right? Okay, so indicate which one is yours. Thank you. Okay, starting with Ms. Harris-Jones. It's on. Just make sure you have to hold it close to your mouth and speak as loud
Good
as you
evening.
can.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vivian Harris-Jones.
Closer to.
Oh, can you hear me?
Or speak louder.
Speak louder, okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vivian Harris-Jones. Welcome. Thank you for everyone for coming out this afternoon. I'm running for the 4-year term as an incumbent. I am currently a village trustee as of 2021. I've been with the village since 2021, and I live in Homewood, of course. I've been raising my family here. I've been here since 1999. So I know a lot about Homewood. I was in Serena Hills, which is part of the HF school district. And my family and I decided, you know what, we're paying taxes in the village. Let's try to see if we can get into Homewood. The reason I'm running is to keep the community as great as it has been since I've been on the board. I currently serve as the liaison of the beautification committee. So when you see the flowers in the community, that's my team. We're doing what we can to keep the community beautiful. I currently work at the Sunrise Senior Living of Flossmoor as a concierge there. So I'm familiar with all of the senior citizens in the community and in Flossmoor, so thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting us in the Signing Center, for hosting us today. And thank you to all of you for coming out. My name is Lauren Roman. I am a current trustee and I'm running for the 2-year position. I grew up in Homewood. My husband and I both graduated from HF, and we now have 3 little kids that we are raising in Homewood, 2 of which go to Willow and my oldest goes to Churchill. I am also a full-time realtor. So as a top producing realtor in the Homewood market, I take a lot of my experience as a realtor to my position on the board. I think that I ask questions to our village staff and to the board, and I use my experience as a realtor to hopefully protect your greatest asset, your home. I'm also out there in the community as a realtor, so I'm hearing why people are moving into our community and why people are moving out of our community. So I think that's really important to bring back to the village staff and to the village board. Beyond a trustee, I hold an executive committee position with the PTA. I am in and out of the schools as much as I possibly can. They try to kick me out sometimes, I think. So I'm talking to the staff and the parents at the school and bringing that information back to the village board and to the village staff, and try to bridge communication between the 2 entities. At my core, I'm just a person that's committed to our community. I love our Homewood community, and I enjoy being part of moving Homewood forward.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate everyone coming out. My name is Patrick Siemsen. I am running for the 4-year position. I guess I gotta speak up. I'm running for the 4-year position. Thank you. I believe it's really important that everybody in our community is out here. This shows that we all care about Homewood. No matter where you vote, everyone's out here. I think that's really important. A little bit about me. I've been in this community well over 20 years. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm a grandfather. My children and my grandchildren and my stepchildren all went through the Homewood School District, which I'm very, very proud of. Professionally, I served with the Homewood Police Department for over 26.5 years and retired honorable.
Use the microphone.
Hold it close. Hold it right.
Hold it closer, okay.
Okay.
I served with the Homewood Police Department for over 26 years, had a great career, honorably retired, and I currently serve as a chief of police for the city of Momence. I've served for 3 other agencies, so I've seen very different levels of government and how they respond, and I have to tell you that I'm so proud of how Homewood, my hometown, does is that I don't want to be involved with any other communities, and when I was asked to run for this position by Mr. Holfeld, I was honored. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I'm committed to making and keeping Homewood great, and that's why I'm running for this position. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Liz Varmecky. Let me know if you can't hear me. I'm running for the 4-year term for trustees. I'm the founder of South Suburbs for Green Space, which stopped the Calumet Country Club from becoming a trucking hub, so truck no. The current administration was prepared to let this disaster happen to our community, even telling us that they had negotiated with the developer for more favorable terms. No community members were part of that negotiation. A single political party was deciding what they determined was best for our community. As an environmental activist and a community organizer, I'm running to ensure that our village protects green spaces and listens to residents through open and public town halls. I'm running so that residents are able to participate in our government through enacting term limits, which are long overdue. For my day job, I manage and coordinate the IT projects for a billion-dollar finance company. This job requires me to communicate with the team and the executive stakeholders to keep the department of almost 30 on track with priorities and deadlines with exacting communication and organization. These skills, combined with my passionate community work, will make me an excellent trustee who listens to the community and gets things done. Thanks.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
So I'm Tiffany Cole. I am running for the 4-year term for a village trustee. I do want to thank the League of Women Voters and the Homewood Science Center for hosting this forum today. And I do thank all of the residents that came out today to listen to us discuss important things that's going on in our community. So I'm running for trustee. Well, I'll start off with saying that I'm a Homewood resident of 30 years. It'll be 30 years in June. And I have 3 small children here. They're not small. They are in the elementary school districts. And I am a homeowner, and one of the reasons that I'm running for trustee is that I feel that our voices are not being heard here in the community. We voice our concerns, and there's not necessarily any type of reaction or any public inclusion with the decisions that are being made. So that's why I'm running. And in my professional career, I have a bachelor's in healthcare administration, and I work for a revenue cycle management firm that deals with denial management. We find trends and utilizing data analytics. And so I know that my finance background will be an important role in this trustee position. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Philip Mason, and I am running for a 4-year term as a trustee for the Village of Homewood. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and to the Homewood Science Center for hosting us here. Thank you for all staying and sticking around. I am a trustee that was appointed. I used to serve on the Economic Development Committee. I was a former treasurer for a moment, and I was appointed to this position in May. And so I'm running to retain it. I am probably the newest person to Homewood up here on this platform. I moved to Homewood in 2018, but this is a community that attracted me because of the values that it holds close. Those are the same values that I was raised with. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I was taught by my dad, mostly forcibly, that I help my neighbors, that I help shovel their snow, I help cut their grass, I help take out their trash and help them with their groceries, and I look out for my seniors, and I look out for the younger kids, and those are the values that I grew up with. And those are the values that I really saw reflected in the Village of Homewood. I didn't move to Homewood until my children were high school age, so they didn't come through the system, but my youngest daughter graduated from HF, and it was a wonderful experience. I currently am employed by Cook County Emergency Management and Regional Security. We're the emergency management agency for the entire county. My position is in preparedness. That's a passion of mine, making sure that residents all across the county have the educational tools to make informed decisions, to be prepared, build resilience. I think if anything, the July 15th tornadoes and COVID taught us that preparedness is real important. So I hope for another 4 years to gain your trust and to continue to work and do the best I can to keep this community great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi folks, my name is Craig Frank. I'd first like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this, but more importantly, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. Homewood is a really committed town, and it is appreciated. I am a 2-year candidate on the Greener Party slate, and a little bit about myself. I'm a lifer. I grew up in the area. I attended Churchill, James Hart, and I graduated from HF in class of '87. You can do the math on that. I'm the co-owner of the Rock Shop on Dixie Highway in downtown Homewood, and I'm also the finance director for the Center for Performing Arts at Governor State University. When I was approached to join the Greener Party slate, I hadn't considered running for any elected office. I had been attending the trustee meetings twice a month, and I found myself confused and frustrated on several occasions. As a resident of Homewood and a small business owner, it felt like the right time to get involved in local government. A little backstory, when I was in college, I changed majors 9 times to avoid math. I graduated from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign with a BA in speech communications, and from there I made a run at being a professional musician. I made a record, toured a bit, got a couple of songs and movie soundtracks, but I didn't make the cover of the Rolling Stone, but I was having fun. So flash forward a few years, I got married, had a baby, and realized that there's a fine line between being a starving artist and an unfit parent. So I took a temp job in an accounting department at an insurance company, which involved math. They hired me on full-time, paid for my graduate degree. I have an MBA from Roosevelt University with concentrations in accounting and management, more math. I worked my way up to the position of chief financial officer for a German research and manufacturing company, which involved even more math. I never had any intention of being an elected official, nor do I plan on making a career out of it. Based on our current national political environment and the similar state of our local government, well, like it or not, sometimes you have to do the math. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick McAneney. I'm running for a 4-year trustee term. I'm a lifer as well. My parents moved here when my mother was pregnant with me, so I've been in town my whole life. Went to St. Joe's grade school, graduated from there, then attended Homewood-Flossmoor High School, graduated in '86. Thought that I wanted to cook for a living, so I attended Joliet Junior College to go to culinary arts. Realized nights and weekends weren't my thing, so I got into public works. Started for the Village of Homewood in 1989. I left there in 2001. Went to work for Baxter & Woodman Consulting Engineers. Left there in 2005. Was on my own for a little while. Then I went to work for the Village of Homewood as Director of Public Works from 2008 to 2018, when then I returned to the Village of Homewood as Assistant Director of Public Works from 2018 until 2023, when then I left it. Now I'm at Homewood-Flossmoor Park District as Superintendent of Parks and Planning. Myself, I have 2 children. Both of them have gone through the Homewood-Flossmoor school system. My son is a sophomore at HF right now. Live in town, have been a couple of different locations, Governor's Park, and currently live over in Rensselaer. I was part of the Homewood Stormwater Committee for about 10 years, and then currently also serve for the Homewood Federal Credit Union, sitting on the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, could you pass that right down to candidate number 2, which is Ms. Lauren Roman?
That's me.
Okay, the question is, how will you work with the elected mayor to build unity and, I'm sorry, I gotta use my own mic. Okay, how will you work with the elected mayor to build unity and work together?
That's a really good question. So I currently work with our current mayor. So if he's reelected, Rich Hofeld and I, we don't always see eye to eye on how to get to the end result, but we often agree on the end result. So he listens to what I have to say. When he appointed me to the board, he appointed me because of my age, and he said I'm part of a demographic that is not represented on the board, and he wanted that opinion. So he listens to what I have to say about my opinion on things that I hear from the community, and we work well together in that sense. I don't know what it would be like working with Brady. I did think it was very interesting that he had not reached out to any of the current board members or the staff. That I know I had it when I was in the back too. I'm sorry. So I don't know what that would be like. If he's elected, we will obviously all work together for the better of whoever's elected. I would think would work together for the better of the community. I wish he would have stayed to listen to what we all had to say today also.
I believe that's about access. I believe being out there, meeting people, making sure, I believe one of the things that Mr. Holfield does very well that I've never seen, I've worked for nine different governments. I've never seen a mayor give his time on Saturday morning. That is so important. People work, you can't just expect one avenue of access. One of the things that the village is doing right now, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, you're getting some feedback. Let's try this one. Yeah. See if that comes together.
Better? I think it's about access. I think unity is about access because it's about conversations. One of the things I believe Mr. Holfeld does very well is provide the opportunities to meet on Saturday mornings. That's fantastic. I believe we have to get out there. We have to be accessible. Mr. Chalmers brought up about the seniors. I would love to be out into the senior community more. I believe the app that the Village of Homewood is coming out with currently is going to allow us a lot more access because it's going to allow us the ability to talk to and speak with people on all different levels at immediacy. I also believe there's a lot of room for diversity there with our Spanish and other community members. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think unity is an interesting question because I think one of the things that we're running for in Greener Homewood Party is a diversity of thought. So we don't all agree, anybody in the village, what's good for the village, but I think open communication and respect about how we're going to move forward, regardless of who's village president, is the key. I think that's the key to any good relationship. You always have to communicate and listen to each other and be respectful. So that's how I would approach any relationship with either mayoral candidate. And I think that bringing new perspectives and new ideas and having a relationship where you can express those freely and feel comfortable doing that is what's going to be really important to making change in Homewood.
Thank you.
I would say that I have 3 areas that I think are important, and that would be making sure that we're unified in a way of respecting individuality and every person's ideas. I think everybody has something fresh and new to bring to the table, so just respecting that individuality and being unified in that manner. I would say trust, knowing that that person has the best intentions. I don't think anyone that's running for office wants to see anything negative happen in Homewood. I think we all have the best intentions and want to see good things. So I believe trust is important. And I would like to say, open communication, making sure that we're having open dialogue, and if there are problems that come up, that we're talking those over and coming up with solutions. That way we can all be on the same page. And then we want to also make sure that we're keeping the residents in mind in whatever initiatives and policies that we're making.
Thank you.
Would you mind repeating the full question for me?
How will you work with the elected mayor to build unity and work together?
So, I think that along with unity, I think it's more harmony. Because as stated earlier, you don't always agree, but it's about being respectful. I always try to approach working with anybody from a perspective of really hearing them out and understanding, all of the facts, getting the information. I'm not an expert on everything, so I have to hear all of the sides, get the information, and present mine in a compelling way and listen to what our mayor would say as well. I think that Mayor Holfeld's leadership has been great. It's one of the reasons why I came to this village. I've worked with county government for a very long time and been in almost every municipality in Cook County, and I have not seen another mayor that is as accessible as Mayor Holfeld, and I think that that's a great thing. But if Mayor Holfeld is not our mayor, I plan to work equally as well with any mayor that the people elect, as well as to be a vessel of communication from them as well.
When you talk about building unity, we have unity right now, which is a singular opinion. We roll forward with one opinion and things get rubber stamped. I'd like to see discourse in local government. I'd like to see discussion. How are we going to work together? Listen. We have to listen. Ask what else. Ask what we can do. talk to the constituents, talk to the residents of Homewood. We are representative of your opinion. We are not the singular opinion. We need to come up with well thought out and intelligent questions and come to reasonable solutions with discourse and through conversation. First and foremost, we need to listen and ask not just what, but what else.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that yes, certainly access to clear communication, understanding, maintaining respect, listening to the input. Every issue is going to be different. There's going to be multiple sides, but it's still going to be to maintain that respect, and be it with Brady or Rich, that there remains that clear communication, understanding. You hear both sides of it, but that you still maintain that respect to each other and to the whole board. But yes, the clear questions are asked. If it's the resident input is needed, being out at different events, and Richard, you mentioned it, if you're in the store and you stop and you talk to people, just being available and always being ready to listen to anybody that has a suggestion and bring that back to the mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You can hold that up.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, number one. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm the last one, I'm sorry. Anyway, to me, I think unity is about respect, being open-minded, and communicating. Whoever becomes our mayor, whether it's Rich Hofield or Brady Chalmers, we as a board need to listen, give ideas that benefit our community. We are the listeners of the mayor, but we also have ideas that can help him go forward and make the community a great place to live, to bring new ideas into our community, be open-minded, listen, of course, but I'm always in mayor's ear. He goes, yeah, wait a minute, hold on. But anyway, bring ideas into the community and stay in communication with the mayor and as a board. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next question goes to candidate 3. There has been a history of little or no attendance by the public to village board meetings, then meltdown after decisions are made. How would you encourage more community involvement?
Well, again, that kind of goes back to my last question too. First off, we need to make sure that they're informed of when those meetings are, the information that's going to be presented, the topics. I think they do a very good job, but we can always do better. That goes back out to the access, speaking with the community, making sure that they understand, make sure everything's posted as soon as possible, making sure that we're using all our resources available, making sure our trustees are connected, collaborating with the community to make them understand, hey, we've got an important vote coming up, you might want to come and learn about it. The other thing is our job, we serve as conduit to you, to the public, to make sure that you understand those issues. We want your problems, I want your problems. I'm a professional problem solver as a police chief. That's what I do. So I look forward to those, I love solving problems, and with that, I believe that would be the answer to that question. Thank you.
As a regular board meeting attendee, I think it's very vital to attend the meetings. However, I do not think my attending any meetings has ever changed any votes or changed any policy, no matter what I've said there. And so what I think is important is that we need to have public town halls where we actually have an open dialogue with the community, where the community gets to ask questions and have their questions answered, where they get to input proactive ideas and solutions to our village elected officials. So I think that's the most important. Obviously, attending meetings is great. You get informed, but you don't get input. It's a one-way street. And so that's why I am a firm believer in town halls.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to piggyback off Liz. We're on the same slate, and I agree we will have town halls. I think having community engagement is important. Board meetings are more formal, and again, it's more of a one-way discourse, and so I do believe that town halls are important. I would say for me personally, I think I would make sure to inform residents via social media. I will put the word out as much as I can to make sure that the residents are engaged and that they know that the board meetings are happening when they're happening. I think we just need to be abreast and making sure that the community is aware that they're taking place. I mean, you know, you can't overshare or over promote something that's important. So just a one day a week announcement, or small literature going around the community, reminding residents of a board meeting. It's great and all, but I'm sure we can do better. We can improve. I'm real big on community engagement. Thank you.
So one of the things about running for a position is sometimes you say the same thing over and over, and it seems very cliche. One of the things that I really truly believe, and I've heard this from some of the elected officials that I really respect, is that our democracy is one of the greatest forms of government, but it's also the most fragile, and that's because it relies on an active and informed citizenry. So we may think that we are doing all we can to get the voices of our community, but maybe there are other ways that we could look at getting people to our board meetings or having input. I'm all for other ways, and I love to talk to people. My wife hates to send me in the store in the neighborhood because I'm gonna meet somebody or talk to somebody and turn a 5-minute run into a 30-minute session. But I think that we should definitely listen more and be more accessible and available, and whatever ways the community needs for us to hear them, those are the ways that we should seek out.
Thank you.
When you talk about attendance to these meetings, the public isn't heard. People bring their concerns and they're not heard. They present and we roll forward. This breeds apathy. I'm going to use this parking lot behind the village hall as a prime example. I have yet to come across a single person who thinks that's a great idea, aside from the developer who's looking to get it real cheap and build 60 apartment units. So if you want to encourage community involvement, you're going to have to listen to what the people have to say. You're not going to be able to act on every single item, but you've got to listen, and I don't think that's what we're living with right now.
Thank you.
Hello. I do believe that people do attend the board meetings, and yes, there's items on the agenda that are there to be voted on. There's not any public input prior to, so an option of a committee meeting prior to, that there could be just some input on an item that would be on an agenda in the upcoming weeks or the upcoming month would be beneficial. There's no guarantee, but I think that that would be an option to look at to see if that would bring more people up, because I do feel that that is an issue right now where people come to meetings and there's items on the agenda and it's nothing that they can have an opinion on before it's voted on. Thank you.
Thank you. You pass that down to candidates 1 and 2, and I'll repeat the question. There has been a history of little or no attendance by the public to the village board meetings. Then meltdown after decisions are made. How would you encourage more community involvement?
Okay, I believe in social media. We do have a social media person that solicits any kind of information from the community. So I think that's more of an avenue to bring in more involvement for people to know what's going on in the community. Also, our mayor offers hear from the audience it's during our meetings. So people have the ability to come up to the podium and give their take on what's going on, any issues they may have at that time. And it is addressed to the board at that time, not during the meeting, but elsewhere afterwards. So I do believe that social media is an avenue, but we do need to have more community involvement, definitely.
Thank you.
I love this question. I feel like I could have written this question and submitted it to the panel today, because this was a big concern for me. What sparked all of this was the Calumet Country Club issue, and I think part of it is that we're not going to change some of that, right? There are people that would like to bury their head, and then after a decision is made, there is still the outrage. But this did become a passion project for me at the village level after the Calumet Country Club thing. And that was through Antonia, who is amazing, through social media. She does share a lot more. I'm sitting here thinking this hasn't happened in a while. I feel like I should knock on wood, because I do think that we have gotten better at communicating when there are big issues. I think that there are certainly opportunities for more conversations about the things before they are voted on, because I've often said, I don't have time to process everything that everybody has come up here and said, and now I have to decide on it right now. So I think that that's something that we can work on, where there are more opportunities for us to have those conversations before the day that they are getting voted on.
Thank you. The question is, what options would you try to bring in town for teenagers?
That's a great question. I hear a lot from the community that there isn't enough for teenagers to do. So I think that would be something where we would want to have a focus with our economic development director on what we could do that would actually be a gain. I don't have teenagers, I don't have any children, so this is something that I would seek community input from other parents and other people who do this kind of thing. I do think that the property that used to be Walmart is a prime example of a huge space that could be made into a recreational facility. I've heard that from several people in the community as a place where teenagers could gather, particularly in the winter when you can't go to parks. So I think that's an opportunity, but again, this is a listening opportunity for me to hear from parents and teenagers themselves.
We definitely need activities for the teenagers in the community. There's really nothing for them to do outside of, I want to say, activities within the school district, and there are activities within the park district. There are no businesses in the near vicinity that have anything related. I mean, I'm with Liz. I mean, Walmart location could have been something really great for, it's such a big space. But we definitely would need community input, research and find ways that we could bring something, say a bowling alley or a Dave & Buster's or a trampoline park. I'm open to all those options, but we do need to do something. I feel that that age group is being left out, and you know what happens with teenagers when they're left with too much time on their hands. So I definitely do know that we really need to do something about that.
Thank you.
So when I was a teenager, I thought I was pretty cool. And I've got two daughters that think I'm as lame as it gets. So as far as thinking of ideas for teenagers, I'm not sure that, I want a group outside of their input to really make a lot of decisions about fun things for them to do. But I do think that there's a lot of opportunity for mentorship programs for teens with our local businesses and show them different opportunities for career pathways and development. Within my own agency in emergency management, that's a bit of an industry that is kind of shrouded in mystery. Not a lot of people know really how to get into emergency management and what we do. And so there are a lot of opportunities. We have some great businesses right in this community, and I think there could be some partnerships with them to take on some teams and create some workshops and some mentorships to give them some other ideas about potential career paths. They're going to find things fun to do.
That's a tough question to get teenagers invested in the community. Being a musician and having a little shop, I'm not here to advertise for my shop, but we do host music on Thursday nights. We have local songwriters from the high school coming. I'm hosting songwriter workshops, trying to mentor these kids into the murky waters of the music industry. I mean, if you want some additional ideas, I would have hired some high school kids to do that mural that's running on the Hartford building. Why hire some out-of-town artist for $10,000? We could have easily gotten the art program at HF to kick in and do an excellent job. Seek out the environmentalists and send them out to Isaac Walton to do environmental and preservation work out there. You have to get these kids invested in the community. It's a great place. I grew up here. I'm still here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that, yes, some community input, maybe a survey of what people think that there would be a need for. I mean, again, back when I was younger, it was bowling alley or a movie theater or roller skating rink. I don't really know that the teenagers now would be that interested in that. And unfortunately, there's not many movies that really come out on the big screen anymore. Everything's on, where you get it on your phone or stream it somewhere. But yes, can certainly work with the local park districts for activities. They currently have some activities for teenagers, but then also a mentorship or apprenticeship program, because certainly the trades are lacking, and something for kids to get into where they can be creative, be constructive, and then even get out and work with some of the local residents, seniors, help out, do what we used to do when we were kids, maybe try and bring some of that back to these kids' lives. Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier, I work at Sunrise Senior Living of Flossmoor with the seniors. And we have an activities director that welcomes all teenagers to come in, sing with the seniors, puzzles, games. They come in, they volunteer, they give their time, they show compassion to our seniors. That's what we need for our teenagers, to get involved in the senior facilities in the area. That would help them, that would give them something to do after school, Saturdays, Sundays. Bring them in and let them help the seniors, and the seniors enjoy the young people. Their smiles are just bright. They love to see the young people coming in and giving them time and showing them compassion. So I would think that's something great for the teenagers to do in our Southland community.
Thank you.
So I think that there were a lot of ideas that were thrown around up here, and there's some challenges with that. I know that we've talked, there has been a lot of ideas today about the Walmart property. I need people in the community to understand that when Walmart left, that left a huge hole in our budget. I have 3 little kids. I would love if there was a trampoline park right on Halstead for my kids to go when it's raining, but that is not fiscally responsible for our community to put something like that in that space when we have a large sales tax hole in our budget from the missing Walmart. So there's a huge challenge there. And then I will echo a lot of the comments that have already been made. I think that this is a great opportunity for a focus group and for our different, I always say that it would be great when our different entities in our community work together. My brother was one of the 5 teenage boys that went to the park district and got the skate park built over on Harwood. So if we could all come together, the different the park district, the library, the village, and get organizations and ideas for our teens, I think that that would be great for our community to get involved in that conversation.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges with this is making sure we're being responsible adults when we do this. We want to create an environment that's positive, safe, of course. My personal vision for that would be some type of committee through the village that monitors that. Maybe even form a team with teenagers on it that help us develop the program. Some of my thoughts are the park district, the police department, the fire department, HF, our other schools, colleges, universities, and businesses, and maybe the library and some of the retirement communities. One of the most rewarding things I've ever had happen in my career is the many young men I had come through and wanted to do a ride-along. They came and did a ride-along, and those gentlemen ended up going to the military and or to police service, some went to the fire service. I see great value in that, and I think it's would be something that the community would definitely benefit from.
Thank you. No, you're all right. I think
I answered this question.
Okay, all right. So the next question is, did you answer?
I did.
You did already.
I was.
Were you the first one? Okay. Pass the mic to. Oh, Liz, okay, I'm sorry. All right, you're the first one now.
Okay.
How will you encourage moderately priced housing, whether by rental or purchase, for young families just starting out?
How will I encourage moderately priced housing? I have to research that. I'm not 100% sure of ways to implement something like that. I do know that we have a gap in just affordable housing in general. And so I would want to focus on making sure that we do have affordable housing in the community. There are younger generation of families that are moving in. They're just starting out, and they can't afford the higher priced items. So I do think that, you know, finding ways to determine what we could do to find some of the lower priced housing options for young families. But you know, the housing market is it's a doozy. So I would definitely have to research more on ways to do that. I would have to, you know, I'm sure that I could come up with some solutions, you know, with having some sort of discourse with other candidates.
Thank you.
Hard one there.
So, I would talk to Lauren Roman. She's a real.
That's not a fair question.
But in all seriousness, I think that maintaining the economic development of our community and you know, having businesses that create sales tax revenue is one of the things that makes Homewood a very attractive community for young families. I think that this community has done a great job of building a culture in which you have second and third generations move back, and that is a testament to the village itself. But I think as long as we are being fiscally responsible and making sure that economic development is done responsibly, we will continue to have affordable homes within the community. We are in a much better position, and I think there was even a campaign before to drive families, young families from the city of Chicago to Homewood and the Southland because of the bang for your buck. So I think we'll just continue down that path.
In order to drive home moderately priced housing, you're going to have to work with the developers that are coming into the town. And as you're building 40 units and 60 unit complexes, they're going to have to bake into their contract. You can get these properties if a certain percentage falls under the quote unquote affordable range. That's the only way you're going to encourage affordable housing. And again, in those particular units, there would have to be some sort of rent control. That is out of my area of expertise, but we turn to HUD, we turn to other housing administrations, we ask the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I would feel that as far as affordable housing purchases, we could be maybe a resource to work with potential home buyers to turn them on to HUD or other companies that could help out finding lower rates for their mortgages. Certainly, yes, if more rental properties are coming in, newly developed, then X amount of those could be a lower rent for making it more affordable. But outside of that, as far as making, we don't really have control on making houses more affordable. Certainly in Homewood, we do get a lot for your dollar. But yes, as far as the pricing of homes, that's up to the people or the realtors that are selling them and the landlords that host the rent. But on new properties that were being constructed, I think that we could certainly allocate X amount of those for a lower rent cost.
Thank you.
Again, Lauren is the expert on this. I think that Homewood is affordable per se for most of the communities in the area. We get a bang for our buck here. Like the other people on the boards who are on the table just mentioned, I think that HUD would be excuse me. I think that HUD would be the place to go for affordable housing. I really don't know anything about it.
Okay, I think this question was written for me. And there's no way I can answer this question in 1 minute. This is not a Homewood problem. This is a market, this is a global market problem. This affordable housing is a global problem. And it all comes down to supply and demand. I see my friend over there who ran that campaign for driving people to Homewood, and she did a phenomenal job to the point that I said, we need to stop spending money on marketing Homewood. It's already happening. We already have 10 offers on every house that goes on the market. So what we're doing, what the village is doing, the staff, the current board, it's already driving people to Homewood. We don't need to spend marketing dollars or budget dollars to drive more people to Homewood. And I like I said, I could talk about this and now I have 15 seconds. I think that there are tons of programs in place right now for first-time homebuyers and depending on location, for down payment assistance, and that's all I know.
Thank you.
I'm going to object to going right after the number one realtor in Homewood. She even wore her realtor jacket here to try to influence that question. So, a little bit about me. I've owned 2 houses in town. My wife's owned a house in town, and we've lived in several apartments. And I own rental property in town, and also I have a business in town. So, I believe everyone up here has kind of hit on every point, but I believe a different thought on this would be to work with the HOAs to make sure they're responsible. There's another program that the Village of Homewood is not involved in. It's called the Crime-Free Housing Program, which regulates what realtors can do, and I'm sorry, not realtors, owners. They also meet with owners and residents. They talk about everything from rent control to property inspections and what's expected of both. So working with the HOA and starting a program like crime-free housing would definitely help with that. Thank you.
I'm lucky I get to go last. A lot of what people have said is accurate. We have a national housing crisis, but Homewood does have actually existing a lot of housing diversity, which is great. Unlike a lot of other communities in the south suburbs, if you look at Flossmoor, there isn't a lot of diversity there. I think one of the things that's really important is protecting some of our lower income neighborhoods like Governor's Park and making sure that we still make those places desirable to live in. Another thing is creativity. I think that the village had passed some regulations on accessory dwelling units and allowing those. And we don't have a lot of space to build out, but we could do more accessory dwelling units, and that's like the housing above garages, that's like tiny houses in your backyard. And these could be good options that we could encourage people to build that would provide housing options for younger families.
Thank you. This next question, in fact, there are 2 questions, pretty much the same, and it's kind of like addressing the elephant in the room, but since 2 people asked it, I'm going to ask it of you candidates. The Science Center, and I don't know this to be fact, but it says the Science Center receives approximately $200,000 in taxpayer monies, plus provided with a building maintenance utilities. Is this a good use of our tax dollars? The next one asks the same question, but also asks, what role should the village take with oversight, if any, all related to this particular facility?
Well, I can't say exactly how much the village offers to this facility, but I will say that this is a gem in the community. This is extremely important because this is the one of the building blocks for STEM education for our kids, and that is really where all of the jobs and all of the careers are focused in today's job market. So I think that this is an invaluable resource. This is definitely a way that the village can invest in our children and their future, and it also is the building blocks for making sure that we are developing individuals that will keep Homewood as a profitable and a great place to stay.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the number that the Science Center receives, but I think it's an excellent investment in the community. That is money well spent. Start at the bottom and work your way up. How are you going to continue that? Hire competent directors. Edie does a great job. The volunteers have done a great job. This is a real resource to the community. What we're doing is we are encouraging curiosity. We're encouraging involvement. We're encouraging hands-on. That's exactly what we need. I would continue to support the Science Center.
I certainly agree. The question before was, what about teenager activities? What are we doing? So certainly they can come here. There's a robotics club. I mean, it's absolutely amazing of what they build, design, compete what they do. You have opportunities for younger children to work here, but then also, I mean, it starts from the ground up with their STEM studio, the STEM Saturdays. This is a fantastic place to come, create, experience, and grow and learn. So absolutely, I would continue to support, but again, don't know the financial contribution on the village, but certainly, yes, the village does help with maintenance of this facility. But I think it's a fantastic asset to Homewood.
Thank you.
As stated also, I do not know what the dollar amount is that the village contributes, but I know for a fact that this place is the best place for our future of our young people. The science, the technology, the engineering, the mathematics, we have to keep our young people engaged in what's going on in the community, and this is an excellent place to do it. Thank you.
I echo a lot of what's already been said, that this is one of the gems of our beautiful community. I think that it is tax dollars well spent from the village to get this up and running and support it. I was telling Edie when I got here that my kids were mad that I told them I was going to the Science Center and they weren't allowed to come with me. They didn't understand why they couldn't come. I think that this is also a great way of our tax dollars killing two birds with one stone. We're supporting this phenomenal building and program, and we're also organically marketing our community. Back to the last question, oftentimes when I meet buyers that are interested in Homewood, they say, and you guys have a science center? You know, it's a great way of organically marketing our community without spending dollars on advertising for our community, and this is growing our next generation, so this is definitely a piece of our Homewood puzzle that I don't think any of us would want to go away.
I also echo the panel's thoughts here. Excellent resource, excellent for our community, excellent for our children. My daughter went to HF, and I know it's not related to the Science Center, but I'm going to bring this story up because it talks about opportunities, and you never know what's going to spark a child's interest and lead to a career path or an interest for life. She goes to HF speaking one language. She leaves speaking 3 languages. We speak Spanish at my house daily. She ends up speaking Spanish and Italian. She currently works for the Italian government, giving visas and citizenships for Italians and Americans. So I think when we talk about this, it's opportunities for our children to get them involved, see what they're interested in, see where their career path lies, and it's positive, it's responsible, and it supports what we market here in Homewood.
I'm going to say some new things. I mean, I do know that the budget for the Science Center is about $200,000 a year from the village. But honestly, I think we should be spending more. What I've heard from a lot of parents is they'd love to have longer hours at the Science Center. So I think we should be investing more in that. And we could have addition. There is the robotics program, which I heard is great, but also we could have more specific programming for teenagers, but also we could have adult programming. Adults love science too. So I think that there could be more diverse programming and more hours. And then I think the village could spend more money on science education for all levels.
I agree. The Science Center is a gem. I've had, my children have went through a lot of the summer camps here. My daughter, when she's in HF now, but when she was in junior high, she was selected to be a part of a STEM Girls Club. She was able to get her CPR license, certification for free. So it's a very important commodity in our community, and I'm happy that my tax dollars are going towards it. I definitely feel that we should support more, and because there is the need for more funds to be allocated to the Science Center, and it's an important, I believe it's an important community-based program that we have here, and I'm happy it's here.
Thank you. Okay, do you think it's important to implement environmentally friendly building practices and land use? Why or why not?
Environmentally friendly building practices and land use? Yeah, 100%. We need to preserve our community, we need to preserve our planet. This is the only one we've been given. We've had some, part of our Greener Party ticket, we've had some environmental issues. I'm going to defer to Liz on that question because she's our resident expert on our slate. But do I think that it's important? Yeah, 100% important. We need to pay attention to what we're putting in the ground. You can't make or destroy anything. So do your very best when you start to make it good, and with a little luck, it'll last and it'll be quality.
Yes, I will certainly echo that. Absolutely, with any new development, anything new coming in, we need to be very mindful of what we're constructing, where we're constructing it, how we're constructing it, what, if any, sort of toxins that might add, or how the stormwater is being handled, discharged, where it's going. If we can do green roofs, if we can use, anything that's going to help the environment and lessen the carbon footprint that a new building would bring in. And then, yes, certainly the existing spaces, we need to continue to maintain those as best as possible, monitor activities that are going on in there to make sure that they are kept clean and pure and helpful and healthy for all of our residents that are around and using them.
Thank you.
I echo what Patrick mentioned just now. Yes, by being the liaison of the beautification committee, environmentally friendly is what we're doing. We're planting perennials that come back year after year. We're making sure that they're around our downtown to keep it environmentally friendly. That's all I have to say about that, though. But thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I think that any development needs to be, as environmentally friendly as possible. And that's done through a lot of our committees. We have the Economic Development Committee, the Appearance Committee. All of these things go through this system before they even come to the board, and even before that at the staff level. But I think that more can be done. I think that we can implement more requirements and work with developers to make them as friendly and as environmentally friendly as they possibly can be.
I agree with the panel here. Environmental friendly strategies are extremely important to implement, but I don't think they should be limited to new buildings. I'm currently dealing with a problem in my community where a much older building caught fire and it leaked some extremely dangerous chemicals into our river. So I would like to see not only on new building construction, but existing, some type of strategies where we can do testing and have some requirements of whether the owners to, annually, whatever it is, work with the EPA to make sure that we're in compliance. And then if a disaster happened or the additional construction or whatever that is, demolition, that we're not damaging something that we didn't even know about.
Thanks. Yeah, this is, I guess this is my question that was built for me. One of the main reasons that I'm running, and it's something that I'm very passionate about, is I think we need an environmental justice commission here in Homewood that will actually evaluate all of our buildings, all of our policies for places that we can do proactive environmental improvement and then also reactive. So obviously we need to have LEED standards for all of our new buildings. We need to be analyzing the soil, the groundwater, everything that we can to make sure that we're protecting our environment in every way possible. So it's one of the primary reasons that I'm running. It's something that I brought up to a current board member 4 years ago, and pretty much was told it's all but impossible to start new commissions, which I don't think is the case. I don't do impossible. So I think we can do an environmental justice commission that can do a whole lot of good here, including protecting our community.
Yes, protecting our green spaces and expanding our green spaces. I would say making sure that all the residents know how important the keeping our environment safe, keeping the environment safe, because we live here. We only have one earth, we only have, this is all we have. And so I say with future developments, finding ways to make sure that they are retaining some of the green space wherever they decide to build, or, maybe creating rooftop gardens, maybe having a community garden somewhere on their property, and making sure that they're adhering to rules and laws that are referencing, creating that green space and making sure that we're living within the means. I mean, I know that like we're spraying a lot of the parks that the kids play in with pesticides, and I mean, what sense does that make? Like, everybody should be asking themselves, is that something that we should really be doing? We're spraying pesticides in the parks where the kids play.
Well, I think all of us play a part in the continuation of our environment, and I definitely believe that that's a tenet of good government, to be stewards of the environment and make sure that all of our practices are as environmentally friendly as possible. I will not say that I'm an environmental expert, but I do as much as I potentially can at home, and I'm all for learning more about ways to be more environmentally friendly on the municipal level, and definitely for the village being proactive in their approach to maintaining a clean and a safe and a productive environment.
We get the next question.
I believe so.
So the question is very simple. Do you support the apartment plan for the village parking lot?
I do not support the apartment plan for the Village Hall parking lot. I realize that maybe there is a need for some rental. However, we have the Hartford building that is a little over a year old. Yes, it's full. I would like to see it in 3 to 5 years. I don't know that there's really a push for 60-unit development, taking over part of Harwood, and then for right now, not having anywhere else for the people to utilize that parking lot now to park. We also have Sportnot building that was converted, I believe, to either 13 or 18 units that are going to be apartments as well. But my biggest fear is just to have these apartment structures that then might be vacant or have vacancies in 3 to 5 years, and then what are those going to become? So, no, I do not support that development.
Thank you. Yes, I do support the parking for, the lot for the apartments. We have people that cannot afford to buy a home due to down payments, maybe bad credit, and we are a welcoming community. Why can't someone else come into our community and enjoy what we have as residents? I think it would be a great idea. We're getting more residents, we're getting more property tax dollars that come into our community. We're getting people that come in and give our small businesses their dollars. So I think it would be a great addition to our community.
I do not support the Village Hall parking lot project. I have been vocal about this at the board meetings. I think that it feels rushed, in my opinion. I think that we're having a lot of conversations about our downtown community, and there needs to be more done there before we move forward with a big development like that. I think my two biggest issues are the location and the developer and the plans around the development itself. And we need to have a lot more conversations about it before I would feel comfortable moving forward with it, specifically in that location.
With this question, I'm glad I'm not a trustee, because I'm very mixed on this. I do see the need for additional housing. So I do, when I looked for an apartment in Homewood years ago, in a house, there was difficulty finding that, so I see that. We do a good job here, so we're going to attract people. People are going to want to come here, they're going to want to spend their money. We have to figure out some place for them to live and welcome them. But I also realize that the parking is a little difficult down there. There's 6 public parking lots, 137 parking spaces on Harwood, and then the Metro lot can take ours. Also, we have St. Joe's. So I am mixed on this, even though I see the need. I do believe maybe there should be a little bit, try to get a little bit further information on parking so that we can make sure it's not too congested.
I am against this development for a variety of reasons. I do think it's very rushed. I don't think that other than the rentals, it's going to provide any benefit to the community. There's nothing like the Hartford building where there's a restaurant on the ground floor. There's not going to be any parking. If it was a facility that had maybe 3 levels of parking, it was also community parking. Maybe that would be a better idea. Maybe if it was a development that had restaurants or stores in the ground floor that the community could also benefit from. But it's not. And so I'm against this development as is. I think we do have a major parking situation. I know we have a housing crisis. I know that we need more rentals, but this isn't a good location. And to Patrick's point, let's wait and see a few years down the line. We do have a new apartment development at this Barnett building that's coming in, and then the Hartford building is still new.
I also do not agree with the apartment complex right there. It feels rushed. There has not been a lot of community input. I received a letter in the mail. I live on the Rapidsville side. I received a letter in the mail about that whole development that's supposed to come, but it's rushed. And I just don't feel like everybody in the community has had a voice of concern about it. It has not been raised by the public. And so there are also parking concerns. There's also the possibility of traffic flow changes that I don't think everybody would agree with. And I do understand that there is the need for additional affordable housing, but I think we need to find other ways to obtain it.
Thank you.
I need much more discussion about that facility. I have not made a determination one way or the other, because I see so many points on both sides of the aisle, and I understand those, and I think that we just need to have more discussion before we make a determination that is going to affect the feel, the flow, and sanctity of our village moving forward for years to come.
Thank you.
The whole reason I jumped into this race was because of the parking situation in downtown Homewood. I'm a small business owner, and I can tell you firsthand that I've had people come into my shop and say, I've circled the block 3 times, I had to leave. I came back, I tried another time, I tried a 3rd time. Couldn't find parking. I think it's a terrible idea to give up another parking lot in the downtown area. I also don't think that high-density urban development is the answer. It's not driving commerce to your local businesses. I can tell you that from firsthand experience. I can also say I've had disabled patrons in my shop, and within 100 yards of my shop, next to we're next to the comic book store, right? There are 2 handicapped spots, and you have to cross Dixie Highway in order to get there. We need to take more consideration into disabled parking and restructure the whole parking in the downtown area. High-density urban development is not the answer.
Okay, thank you for those answers. We have some time constraints here, and this will be the final question. There are several other questions here that are really for the incumbent government. So, and it's not fair to ask trustees who are not currently on the board to answer these questions. So this will be the final question, which I think everyone could address. What does the village do well? What needs to improve, and how would you go about making those improvements? What does the village do well? What needs to improve, and how would you go about making those improvements?
Okay, the village does well with our public works department. When the snow is coming down and everyone's in their home, middle of the night, they're out there plowing the snow for you so that your streets are taken care of, so that you can get from A to B, to your grocery store, to your doctor's appointments, to visit others. We have a great fire department. We have a great police department. Those are things that the village does well. We're physically responsible also with our dollars that we spend within the community. What needs to improve? As far as improvements are concerned, communication. If we can be more open to the public, inviting more people out to our board meetings. I'm sorry, I just looked at her. Inviting people out to our board meetings, being more out in the community, communicating with you guys more often, and things that, what was your last part of that question?
What would you do to make those improvements?
Working with our board and our mayor to make sure that we can listen to you guys and keep moving forward to make our community great for the future.
Okay, so what I think we do well is we hire the experts in their fields and we listen to them. And I mean that by our department heads and our staff. I think we have phenomenal department heads. I think that they run a great police department, a great fire department, a great public works department. I think that we have great events and our communication team is on the upswing since Antonia joined us. I think that that is what we do well, and we need to continue doing that. I think that one thing that we need to improve on and how to do that is communication, and I mean that in a sense of communicating the issues and being there to answer the questions. I say this often, that the hill I will die on is that a TIF takes money away from the schools. That's inaccurate. It does not take money away from the schools. But it's our job to communicate that to the public and educate the public on why that is and maybe why the miscommunication happened in the first place. So we need to focus on specific issues and communicate those better to the public.
Thank you.
Because I have the perspective of working for 9 different governments, I can tell you we do a lot of things well. A lot of things, and not one I've worked in that I've seen that we do as well as they do it here in Homewood, so I want them to keep doing that. Where we improve, obviously, always accessibility, communication, trying to get out and just listen to the residents, the business owners, all that can always be improved. Personally, one of my passions is school safety. And I always think we could help with school safety. It's a different, I get it, it's a different taxing body and things like that. I'm a business that does school safety. There's a lot of value that we could add to that to assist the police department and the schools to get them to collaborate and develop strategies to make our students safer. That's one thing that I would like to see. But overall, I think we do everything fantastic. Thank you.
I think we do have a really good public works department for street maintenance, cleaning the roads, and I think that's great. I think there's a lot of really great things in Homewood. Obviously, we're all up here because we love Homewood. That's why we live here. That's why we're running. We want to make things better. But the things that I'm mostly focused on improving are the greener policy. I just talked about it in the last question. And then also I want to have an open, inclusive government. So for greener policy, obviously I've talked about the Environmental Justice Commission, but also for an open, inclusive government, I think we need to have town halls. We need to have that discussion. If Lauren thinks that TIFs don't take money from schools, then that's the kind of open dialogue that we can have in a forum like that. We also need term limits. I think that's going to give us more fresh blood into the government. I think a lot of people feel like government isn't for them, and I don't want that to be the case. I want everybody to feel like they can participate in our government.
Thank you.
I will say that Public Works does well in the neighborhood. I mean, I've had issues and they've been able to handle things quite quickly. The village does host community events well, even though I think we can improve on that, but I love the events that we have, that they host throughout the year. But I would like to see improvement with small businesses. So focusing public money and TIF funds on small businesses and promoting and profiling small business community. The heart of our downtown is the heart of the community, right? The small businesses pour into the community. They support our Little League organizations and a lot of the other sports organizations in the community. You don't see that from the corporate businesses. They support our local events. They support our local charities. So I really want to focus on small businesses because they're the residents of the community. They give back to the community.
So like everyone else up here said, I think municipal services are second to none in Homewood. I think our economic development engine is awesome, and I also think that our community events are some of the best in the area because they create such a sense of community pride. I think that we can do better in ensuring that not only our residents and community voices are heard, but also help color the decisions that are made around different projects and decisions in the community. I think that the education of our residents around what exactly is going on and what we're doing, how decisions are made, and just making sure the residents better understand the workings of some of the things that take place within government is critical. Not only being active, but actually understanding is really important. And also, I think we can do better at engaging with and involving our youth so that we are creating that next generation of leaders to continue this work.
What do we do well? We're a diverse and inclusive community. That's our strength. We need to capitalize on our strengths and stop trying to overcome our weaknesses. It's based on the people of this community. We value education. We value safety. What can we improve on? We throw TIF money around like parade candy. There's all kinds of village incentives. Too much of it. And not enough community support, or at least community input. We're not listening to what people want. Everybody's for economic development, but pull back on the TIF money, pull back on the village incentives. And finally, in regard to small businesses, what we can do to make this happen: go small, support women-owned businesses, host small business workshops, put together a small business incubator. We have all kinds of empty properties. Fill them in with folks that are trying to get a start somewhere. Do something like that. Less Walmarts, more small business, and finally, really push a shop local initiative.
Well, being last, I feel like I'm just going to repeat pretty much what everybody else has said. But yeah, certainly I think we do very well with public service, public safety, and our events. Throughout the summer, there's always an event going on. It definitely draws everybody from the community, a very good sense of community and family, and very diverse. So very open to anybody and everybody that wants to come and attend, and I think it's always fantastic. Been around for a lot of them. So what can we do better is communication, and yes, it certainly has gotten better as of late through social media, just being open to resident input, and then working with that. And how we achieve it is working with the community and the board to kind of come together on what it is to achieve the goals that are needed. But yes, certainly the commercial industries and stuff like that along Halstead are fantastic, but it is very nice to see when we get small businesses in and fill our downtown, because yes, that is what's key to Homewood.
Okay, did you get everyone?
Yes.
All right, very good. So we're going to, if you hold your applause, we'll go ahead and give the closing statements. Each of you will have 1 minute to give a little wrap-up statement. So as long as you have the mic, let's start with you and then we'll work on it now.
Okay. Well, again, thank you very much for League of Women Voters, the Science Center, and all the residents that came to attend this. It's been very eye-opening for me, learned a lot and good questions, but certainly it's something where, again, been in the community my whole life, have been interested in being a trustee for a number of years, and it's finally brought itself to fruition. So hopeful that I can sit on the board for 4 years and get to know that side of the local government and help work with businesses and residents in town to continue to make Homewood a great place to live and do business.
Again, thanks to the League of Women Voters. You guys did an excellent job. I watched you do the Flossmoor one last week, so that was really well done and really serves a purpose. And thank you all for coming out. I do appreciate it. I'd like to reiterate, I'm not a politician. I'm not I have no career aspirations to be a politician. I'm here to effect change. I'm vested in this community. I grew up here, put kids through schools. I'm here to listen, I'm here to support, and I'm here to make a difference, and I would appreciate your support on April 1st. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for sticking around with us this long. I know it's been quite daunting to sit there quietly and listen to us for as many hours as you have. But we really appreciate everybody's attention and giving us this opportunity to speak to you. Like my counterpart here, I am not a career politician, and I worked in county government for so long, and I swore I'd never be in any type of elected office. But I'm very compelled to be a part of this community and be a part of what makes this community great. And so I'm committed to that. I have a family here. I'm a neighbor, just like you, and I want all of the same things that you want. And I just want to be, hopefully I'm entrusted with that honor to carry out that mission for the next 4 years. Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you again to the League of Women Voters for having this forum and the community for coming out. I do want to say that I'm not a politician either. I'm just a resident who wants to see the community grow. Homewood is already great, and we want to make it greater. We have fresh, new ideas. There's a younger generation that wants to step up. We want to encourage everyone to get involved in their community. It's important. We all live here. We should all be invested in it. Homewood is not great by itself. The residents is what makes it great. So we need everybody to be involved and get out there and sign up for programs in your community. Register for volunteer opportunities in your community. The Greener Homewood Party is focused on making changes for related to the concerns that a lot of the residents have that we've talked to in this political journey. And so I just urge everyone to get out and vote April 1st. Thank you.
I want to thank the League of Women Voters. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, everyone, for coming. This has been a really great day. We've had a lot of different discussions that have been really important. And I think that this is essentially what democracy looks like. And it's really exciting to have a competitive election here in Homewood. And that's one of the reasons that I felt the need to run. I felt like we needed to have diversity of thought. And I think that we've really had that today, and I'd like to see that continue on. Ideally, the Greener Homewood Party will be elected, and we'll be able to bring that to the board. I'll just echo what everyone else said. Homewood is great. That's why we live here. We love Homewood. But it can do better. It can do better in many ways, and I think that we've been a little bit in a box for a while, and it's time to start thinking outside of that box. So thank you so much. Hope to have your support. Early voting starts on Tuesday.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. Monday. I'm also not a career politician. I'm a law enforcement professional. One of my reasons for running is I feel a debt of gratitude to the village of Homewood. They provided me with a great career, great opportunities that I continue to benefit from this state. I want to give back. My kids live here, my grandchildren live here. Like I shared, I came into the police department with 1 college degree, I left with 3. I ended up with a master's degree in politics because of the village of Homewood. They provided me with that opportunity. Came here speaking 1 language, left speaking 2. So I want to give back. I'm also a resident. I want what's best for everybody here. I want to be ethical and responsible, and I'm looking for your support on April 1st. Thank you.
Homewood is such a unique place. I am the #1 realtor in Homewood, but I sell all over the south suburbs in northwest Indiana, and you can't find what we have here in Homewood and very similar next door Flossmoor anywhere else. It's a special place. I want to help keep Homewood a special place, moving in the right direction. I wrote down the word collaboration here because we can't do this alone. No matter who you elect up here, we can't do it alone. So I was so happy to see how many people showed up here today, and I hope you continue to communicate with us. I often say you can find my phone number on signs all over town. Call me, text me, send me a Facebook message. I often sit down and have coffee or lunch with people who I've had differing opinions with, and I think we both leave that learning something about each other. I have more to say, but I just want to finish with thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your commitment to our community, and I hope you all continue to be involved with all of us, whoever you are.
Okay, thank you for the League of Women Voters. And also, I would like to give some goals for our board. We would like to continue and enhance what we are doing in our community. Maintain fiscal responsibility. That's a key to keeping your community thriving. Fiscal responsibility. You need to have that to keep your community moving forward for the future. To grow our economic development, and also we would like to create a community garden within our community where people can come in that love to plant flowers, that love to get their hands dirty and dig in the dirt and just enjoy what God has blessed us with, which is a great community. So I would like to thank everyone for coming out, giving your voices this evening, and thank you.
Okay, first of all, let me thank the audience. I'm sorry we were not able to answer all of your questions, but I hope you got enough information so that you're better informed about the candidates. You know who's running for office, and you'll be prepared to go and vote next week and on April 1st as well. These people are really special. When you're willing to get out there and devote your commitment and your time and your effort and sometimes your own money to support your village, that's really says something special. So good luck to all of you, and thank you for participating, and please give them a round of applause.